It's another week and another plan with me, except I was in the middle of filming this week's plan with me and I realized, wait a minute, this week is for Saturday the 8th, and if I'm posting a video on Saturday the 8th, it should be of last week because I have a 1 week buffer in between my videos so that I'm not stressed out of, getting a video up every month. So I went back a couple of pages and thought, wait, what did I do last week? What? Nothing! I did my washi tape one that you guys saw, and then I totally forgot to plan. That's just how not into sticker planning I was, I guess, that week. But secret revealed, I do have another planner. Well, probably not a secret, but I have this other planner which is actually the more productive, and in fact I'll say the most productive planner I have. You can see it goes everywhere with me because it's totally dirty and banged up and the corners are ripped and there's tabs sticking out, and I wrote something in Korean. Haja! That's let's do it. I think I tried to write you can do hard things in Korean, but it probably doesn't even make sense. I don't even know. But yeah. So this cover is from Molly and Rex. You can see there's the Molly and Rex on the back there. It's kind of foamy feeling almost. And I really loved the set of notebooks that were made for it because, well, I didn't love the covers. As you can see, I covered them up with scrapbooking paper and stuff. But I loved that the interiors were one grid, as you can see here. There's only a few pages left. And then the second book was a dot grid, and I'll be the first to admit that this is kind of an obnoxiously large and obvious dot grid, but it was dot grid. And then the last one was blank except for the Live the Life You Love at the top, which also irritating, but it was nice to have the blank book too because it really followed the setup that I liked. And I saw it first, well no, okay, just keep it short. The system that I use in this planner is a hybrid of the Getting Things Done method that many of you know by David Allen, and also a combination of the StrikeThru method that I just recently saw. And if you want links to those videos to kind of refresh yourself on what these systems are like, they're in the description below. But if you don't want to watch the videos, I'm just going to tell you, here's how I use this traveler's notebook to be my most productive planner of my life. So you can see it's not pretty. You're not going to see any decorations, no dashboards, no die cuts, no stickers, no nothing, not even washi tape very much. And you're going to see that I started trying to color code, and I think I did that for maybe one day before I stopped. There's backwards arrows through things, as you can see. This usually means that it's not going to get done anytime soon, so it gets a reverse arrow. And then other things that I just did that day are crossed out. If there's an X at the end like this, it means it was canceled, it was no longer needed. I happened to find out that that pocket watch actually belonged to a friend of mine and she wanted it back. So it's a good thing I did not take it to Goodwill. And then I have some forward arrows, which means I didn't do it today, I need to do it tomorrow. So it's basically migrate that task over to the next day, which is also actually a bullet journal term. So I guess there's a little bit of bullet journaling in here too, since the StrikeThru method is kind of a hybrid of getting things done and bullet journaling. So you know how it is, all these planning systems kind of meet in the middle. I also use these red forward brackets. This means that I have not only put it off for one day, but also 2 days, and you can see the arrow meaning I'm going to migrate it a third time. So every time there's a little red bracket, that means I didn't do it a day and it was migrated over. So that's how these things kind of look in my old traveler's notebook. This was my everyday to-do list. I had a couple of rules for it. I could not make a list for tomorrow. I could only make a list for today, and I did date them. I think the StrikeThru method says not to date them, but I did just because I like to date them. And I had to write things in a next action form, meaning they needed to start with a verb. I couldn't just say let's see, where am I going to zoom in on here? I don't know why I'm pointing this out. But anyway, I can't just say diet affirmations. I have to create them. Or I can't say just hair appointment. What about the hair appointment? Am I making one? Am I going to the hair appointment to get my hair cut? Like, what part of hair appointment, you know, is that? So I try to make things as clear as possible, as if I were telling someone else, like, this is what you need to do. You need to make a hair appointment, or you need to go to this hair appointment at this time, you know, so it's all very clear. In the second book, the dotted book, this is kind of like the Someday Maybe and kind of like the project index of getting things done. This is where I keep things that are related to one big thing, like minimalism, my KonMari list. And then, where's another page? Plan with me. What is this doing here? I did that. I can cross that out. Woohoo! And let's see, I thought I had another one in here. No, I think I have one for my webcomic too. There it is. So like, yeah, my webcomic, I know I have lots of steps to complete. I have lots of pages that I need to draw. So I could just set them up like trackers in this dotted second book. And this was just kind of like my vault or archive for the things that maybe weren't going to get done today or tomorrow or next week, but I needed them to get done at some point, or have a place to just like put them so I wouldn't forget about them. And then the whatever book. The whatever book is basically your brain dump or your mind sweep, or I think it's just called the dump in StrikeThru. I'm not very fond of that term, the dump, because it sounds like garbage, and you know, this is not garbage. This at the time is important stuff to be writing down. But then after I'm done with it, I put an X through it just so that I know like this information has served its usefulness. I no longer need to keep those pages or anything. So in here I just do whatever. Sometimes I doodle, sometimes I'm mostly mind mapping. Like here's one of my mind maps for just kind of what I want in 3 to 5 years, sort of a vision board, kind of like here's what I want, how am I going to get it? Like what? Like near the bottom there's speak level 1 Korean and earning a BA degree, and like how was I going to do that? And then I try to break it down into like, oh well, I have to pay off my loans first, how am I going to do that? I need another job. Or to speak Korean, how am I going to do that? I'm going to have to practice every day. And so it just got, you know, to get me to think about like the daily actions that are going to lead to these bigger goals. So there's that huge mind map. And then like, what else? More mind mapping. Yeah, this is just like back of the envelope stuff, like really just whatever comes to mind, just space to write in. Here's me even in more depth, like what does learning Korean encompass? Well, you have to learn vocabulary, you know, how to express yourself in the language, penmanship practice, like there's a whole bunch of stuff. And then, well, like how could I practice my penmanship? And, you know, just blah, 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 blah. Anything that I wanted to write down just went into that whatever book. So these are kind of half full. My live list, which is what StrikeThru calls it, is definitely almost full. So it's time to set up a new one. And I thought, you know, I'd kind of make a video on it and show you guys, just because my subscribers kind of said they'd be interested in anything with planning. So since I couldn't find any Molly and Rex books, these are only 5 by 8 inch field books, which are a little bit shorter than these, which are what, like 6 by 8.5, something like that. But I could not for the life of me find that 3-pack of the grid, the dot grid, and the blank ones anymore. So I thought, well, these were cheaper. They're almost the same size. I'll just give them a try. I got these off of Amazon, so if you want them too, there's a link down in the comment section. This is basically like for taking around as just like field notes, and so there's like an index page and stuff, but I'm not going to use it for that. I'm going to use it in the same setup where I have one book for like just today's to-dos. And I didn't like the covers that said field book. I didn't want all 3 to say field book. I wanted to get rid of that. So I pulled out some of my favorite bear stickers, but I didn't like that they were transparent and the wood grain showed through, so I put it on some extra sticker paper and then did that. Same thing with this daily things to do sticker, which came from my Hita Girl collection. I tried to figure out what am I going to do with the washi tape, because again, it's not opaque. It shows the wood grain through it and gets super dark. So I used my whiteout skills and tried to do that, and then layered the daily things to do book. But then it still had that Elon Publishing at the bottom, which I also didn't want, and there's a little TM on the other line. So I tried to like white that out, just turn it into a box. Like, how can I get rid of this? I tried using acrylic paint, and I'm like, wait, isn't acrylic paint basically just the same as correction tape? And then I did my correction tape, and I was just like, oh no, looks ugly. Looks so ugly. So I used some wood grain washi tape on top of that. It still looks pretty hideous, but that's okay. I put a yes I can do it and strapped that in, because the whole point of this traveler's notebook for me is that it doesn't have to look pretty. Like, I want it to look not obnoxious, but I don't worry about like, are my stickers straight or is my washi tape straight? Like, no, like I'm gonna decorate these covers and that's like the end. So I had this die cut from Happy Dia that says MySpace, so I'm gonna use that for the last book where I can just put down anything I want to. And then the black one, I tried using a Crayola marker to just black all of that out, and then use some dotted tape and some stickers that my brother got me. When he heard I was into stickers, he sent me some from Japan, but he sent me like the 3D bubbly ones, you know? And I didn't have the heart to tell him, like, I can't actually use that in my planner because it makes the pages all bumpy. But it was fine for this book, and I added a ha 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 speech balloon sticker. I don't even remember why. So in the cover of my like today list, I always put calendars so that I can just keep track of what day it is, and then write down anything that needs to get done on a specific day, like the earlier hair appointment example. I did not like the stuff on the inside cover that was just like name, you know, what project is this for? This book is the property of, you know, what's your email? So I used this craft paper and tried to make it, you know, kind of handcrafty, rustic looking by tearing the edges, but then I tore it too much, and on the side there the writing was still showing. So I got out these bear stickers again and picked one to use. I think I picked one where it just shows the back of the bear, which I don't know why I thought that was funny, but it is. There you go. And then I did the same thing with the other book. That time I trimmed it. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't want to waste paper again. Slapped it on the inside, and then tore another one and layered that on top because I thought the stripes were a little strong. So I wanted to kind of like calm it down a little bit. And I just wrote that this is the anything book, so I wrote anything super skinny and whimsical? I don't know. Anywho, I have a 3-color ballpoint pen that is my best friend with this particular planner, because I write down all of my work things in blue, and for the one job in blue, and then I use black for things that are still time sensitive. Some of them are my other job, and some of them are like social things, but these are things that can't get moved around. They're all time sensitive. And I put down a couple of notes for like the art class topics that I'm teaching. Red things are also like events that don't reoccur, so I like to bring more attention to those. So here we go. Here's how I set it up on a day-to-day basis. I write the date at the top, and then every other line I put a number, and I just start thinking of what needs to get done today. And this is kind of just off the top of my head. I couldn't remember how to spell presents, so I wrote it twice. Like, seriously, this is like the most just like rough first draft kind of planner that you can imagine. You can see my handwriting is totally sloppy. Doesn't even matter. Like, this is just to get things done. So I wrote down 20 things. Yeah, 20 things, maybe start a language planner. And then I went through and I crossed off the ones that I had done. And then I put the little red bracket by things that have migrated over from yesterday, because they really naturally just pile up and they become their own sort of priority marker, where it's like, you've put this off for 3 days, you need to do it. So now it is the next day, Wednesday, and you can see me going through my list and actually crossing off everything and adding the symbols for what I'm going to do for each item. And that's what I really, really love about this planner, is that I can have this built-in review system where I have to make a decision on every single thing that I write down as a task to do, because sometimes we'll write a to-do list and then some things get done and some things don't, and then the next day you just write your next to-do list, which includes all the urgent things. So like for instance, on this list I only chose 3 things from the previous day to carry over with the red brackets, and then everything else that I'm writing is just new things that have to be done today. So that's the difference there. And you can see the backwards arrows pointing to the left. Those things are things that I am not going to be able to do on Wednesday, but I still need to do them sometime. So I'd carry them over into the second book, and this is again kind of like your someday maybe list. This is kind of like your project index space if you're talking about getting things done. This would be called the vault in StrikeThru, and for me it's just a place to put things that are important but not urgently needing to get done. Like looking up these books, I was browsing on YouTube and found a really interesting theory in acquiring a second language that you don't actually need to learn grammar and memorize vocabulary from flashcards and things like that. It was really interesting, and the video mentioned 3 books, and I wanted to look those up sometime. And coincidentally, in the anything book, that's where I was actually taking notes from the video and just writing down whatever came to me as something important to look up later. And then I even transferred that into the black book as an actual item to do, and not just an anything note that I wrote down in the spur of the moment. Crossing off the next day, it's no longer Wednesday, it's Thursday. So again, I have to make a decision. Are these things going to get done on this next day, or do I need to put them into the black book? So here's my Thursday, September 6th. And Thursday was a day off, so that was a day that I could get a lot of things done in theory. So I wrote down at least 10 numbers at first, and I was bringing over my other tasks. You can see that some of them have 2 red brackets. That means I put these things off for 2 days already, and that's where it becomes a really easy kind of built-in procrastination tracker that you can see whoa, hey, you put this off for 2 days already, and I've had things build up to 7 or 8 days, and it's really just an awesome visual indicator of when you're getting to be procrastipants. And then again, new things that I'm writing down that needed to be done that day, or that I thought I could get done that day. And for me, these lists are originally just sort of a mind sweep or brain dump or whatever you like to say. These are just things that come to mind. I might not even be making a decision of, does it have to get done today? Is this something that I could possibly do? No, this is just it was my day off. Here's everything that's on my mind. And I don't have to worry about making a list that's completely doable, because again, you have to review it the next day and go, okay, what didn't get done? Can I do it today, or should I put it off for another day? And so it just becomes really stress-free sort of planning, and I don't think I even filled the whole list. I think I only got 18 there. So later, looks like at night, I came back. Here's a glance at things I did, things I didn't do. I think I did over half of the list, but a lot of it didn't get done. Friday happened to be another heavy work day for me, so I wasn't going to have a whole lot of time for much else, and I actually went back to the previous page and just used that other half page. Because again, these are not books I'm going to keep. I'm never going to go look back at these and go oh, what did I do on Friday? No, that's what my happy planner is for, okay? This one is just completely functional. So on Saturday, September 8th, there's the indicators of things that I have been putting off. And then I had to do a long shift at work, and I wanted to pack my lunch so that I could stay healthy. And then I also thought maybe I could clean the bathroom if I had enough energy when I got home, but I didn't. So that's going to get a red arrow and push to the next day, which will be Sunday, September 9th. And so I have, again, the clear indicators that, whoa, I'm building up 3 red brackets now with not putting flea medication on my dog, and not classical stretching. I actually changed it to shoulders. My shoulders are really hurting now, so I need to do something for that. Clean the bathroom has been put off for 1 day, and then I'm doing my short shift at work. I forgot that I did my Korean study the other day. Korean practice and withdraw cash for Monday. Monday's gonna be a girl's day, so I need some money. And then, washing my work shirts and stuff like that, things I just need to do. And then looking at, tasks that I had put in the black book, seeing if anything from there can get put on that list. But no, it was pretty good the way it was. So that's a look at how I actually really secretly plan behind the scenes of the pretty stickers and washi tape and, you know, happy planner stuff. Like, this is actually the planner that gets things done. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully it will come in handy and maybe give you some tips about how you can plan out your day. Would love to know if it did. You can drop a comment below. And I guess that is it for this week. I hope you have a good week, and I will see you again next week.